Attention passionate Atlanta, Falcons fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC South and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Atlanta Falcons' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Atlanta Falcons fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Atlanta, FALCONS. Let's get to the news. Now, folks, if you're following the NFL and especially the NFC South, you've probably caught wind of the recent developments that could shake up the entire division. The Atlanta Falcons, under the leadership of their rookie quarterback Michael Penix Jr., have been riding a wave of optimism, a kind of rejuvenation that has fans feeling excited about the future. But as we all know, in the NFL, things can change in an instant, and right now, there's a situation brewing in Cincinnati that could turn the tide in Atlanta's favor. It's a story that's worth paying close attention to because it involves a potential quarterback move that could alter not just the Bengals' season, but also impact the Falcons' trajectory moving forward. Let's start with where the Bengals are right now. Cincinnati, a team that's been knocking on the door of greatness for the past few seasons, has hit a rough patch since Joe Burrow suffered that turf toe injury in Week 2. And since then, it's been a roller coaster of disappointment and frustration. Their backup quarterback, Jake Browning, has been tasked with carrying the load, but unfortunately, he's been unable to rise to the occasion. In fact, Browning's performances in the last 2 games have been nothing short of disastrous. The team has failed to crack 175 total yards in both outings, a statistic that you'd expect from an NFL team in the 1970s, not in 2023. That's how bad things have gotten for Cincinnati's offense. And just last week, in Week 4, Browning's struggles reached a new low as the Denver Broncos dismantled the Bengals 28-3. It was a game that exposed just how fragile Cincinnati's offense has become without Burrow. They're sitting at 2-2, which isn't terrible in the grand scheme of things, but the offensive production has been alarming. The offense looks broken, and with Burrow out until at least December, the Bengals are teetering on the edge of missing out on the playoffs altogether. Their window of opportunity, which seemed so promising just a few months ago, is now under threat. The question that everyone's asking, and rightly so, is what's the Bengals' best move moving forward? Well, the answer might be right in front of them, and it's a move that could be almost too perfect to ignore. Y'all know Cincinnati has a roster loaded with talent, especially with stars like Jamar Chase and T. Higgins still in the fold. But what they desperately need now is stability under center. And that's where the Atlanta Falcons come into this picture. Because, folks, the Falcons already made a bold decision last year when they benched Kirk Cousins in favor of Michael Penix Jr. And while Cousins has handled the situation professionally, he's made no secret about wanting to start elsewhere. And here's the kicker, a trade that sends Kirk Cousins to Cincinnati could be exactly what both teams need right now. On the Falcons' side, they've already identified Penix as their future. The rookie has shown flashes of brilliance and is clearly the present as well, the guy who can lead this franchise into a new era. Kirk Cousins, meanwhile, is an experienced quarterback with 13 years in the league. He's a steady hand, a mature leader, and someone who could bring immediate stability to Cincinnati's offense. Think about it. Cousins can maximize the talent of Chase and Higgins, giving Cincinnati a real chance to salvage their season and keep that playoff hope alive. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking, Cousins is expensive. He's 37 years old, coming off an Achilles injury he sustained in 2023, and he threw a career-high 16 interceptions last season. That's not ideal, especially for a team that's counting on him to be a savior. But when you compare him to Browning, the difference is night and day. Cousins is a proven commodity, capable of managing a game, making smart decisions, and leading an offense with a high ceiling. And the truth is, Cincinnati needs that stability more than ever. They're at a crossroads, and if they don't act now, the season could slip away completely. But here's the thing. Cincinnati has historically been very hesitant to make in-season trades. Over the past 52 years, they've only pulled off 2 such deals. So there's a natural skepticism about whether they'll go all in this time. The cost of Cousins' contract is significant, at $27.5 million base salary with about $21. $4 million remaining to be paid this season, plus a guaranteed $10 million option bonus due in March. That's no small chunk of change, especially for a team that's been cautious about mid-season moves. Yet Burrow's injury leaves Cincinnati in an extremely precarious position. Without help, their season might just fade away before their eyes. This is where the Falcons come into play. For Atlanta, moving on from Kirk Cousins makes a lot of sense. They've already invested in Penix and see him as the guy who can lead them into the future. Cousins, as an expensive backup, no longer fits into their long-term plans. Trading him now could free up over $20 million in salary cap space this season alone, giving the Falcons more flexibility to build around Penix and potentially add more pieces in the upcoming draft. Plus, it's a cleaner situation for everyone involved. As long as Cousins remains behind Penix, there's always that lingering question of whether he'll be happy, whether he's content with a backup role. Moving him now not only clears that up but also allows Penix to fully own the offense, to grow and develop without uncertainty hanging over him. But let's not forget, this is football, and nothing is ever guaranteed. Cincinnati might decide to ride out the storm with Browning. They might prefer to see if he can turn things around, especially given that in-season trades are rare for them. In fact, Cincinnati has only made 2 in-season trades in the past 52 years. So the odds are not exactly in favor of this deal happening quickly. They might prefer to stick with Browning, see how he performs in the coming weeks, and then reassess. But the reality is, with Burrow out for the foreseeable future, their championship window is closing fast. They're in a tough spot, and if they want to salvage 2024, they need to make a bold move. And this is where the Falcons have a unique opportunity. They can address their quarterback situation with a move that's not only strategic, but also aligns perfectly with their current roster and future plans. Moving Cousins to Cincinnati could be a win-win scenario. The Falcons get rid of an expensive backup who doesn't fit their long-term vision, and they gain draft capital that can help them bolster their roster around Penix. They can focus on building a team that's young, fast, and hungry, with Penix leading the charge. It's worth mentioning that, as of now, the Falcons are sitting pretty in the NFC South, a division that's been quite unpredictable this season. The Saints, Buccaneers, and Panthers all have their issues, and Atlanta's recent performances have shown that they're a team on the rise. Penix's arm talent, combined with a solid offensive line and a developing defense, make them a real playoff contender. But to truly take the next step, they need to make smart decisions, and trading for a seasoned quarterback like Cousins could be one of those decisions. It's about seizing opportunities when they come, and right now, the opportunity to help Cincinnati fix their quarterback crisis and improve their own team's chances is there. So, what does this all mean for the Falcons? It means they're in a prime position to potentially reshape their roster for the better. They can focus on developing Penix, build around him, and use the draft and free agency to fill in the gaps. But they also have to stay alert, because if Cincinnati pulls the trigger on a Cousins trade, it might be a move that benefits the Falcons more than anyone else. It's a rare situation, a kind of perfect storm, where two teams with very different needs could come together for mutual benefit. The question now is whether Atlanta's front office will make that call, whether they'll be proactive or wait to see how things unfold in Cincinnati. And now, Atlanta Falcons fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Do you think Kirk Cousins could be the missing piece for Cincinnati? Or would you prefer to see Penix grow into the franchise quarterback of the future? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion truly matters to us and to the future of the Falcons. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, more analysis, and all the latest Atlanta Falcons news. Stay tuned, stay passionate, and let's keep this conversation going. Because in the NFL, everything can change in a heartbeat, and we're here to bring you every bit of that action.